this week's episode. Today, we are talking about the best marketing materials for FBOs.
Of course we are.
Of course we are. A lot of our, the folks that we talk to every week, month, year, whatever, are FBOs or work at an FBO in some capacity and are looking to get more customers in the door and, competing with other FBOs and other things like that, seem to be concerned with how to get more customers in the door. And
exactly.
FBOs are no exception. So every marketing campaign has three elements: a list, an offer, and a presentation. And so today we're going to talk about those three things as they relate to FBOs: how to get the best list, how to get the best offer, and how to do the best presentation. Right?
Keep going.
Okay. So the list. Most marketing companies will talk about presentation up one side and down the other. Talk about how to make great banners for your trade show, how to do a great ad in a magazine. All of those things are great, but if you don't have the right list of people, if you're not reaching the right folks,
doesn't matter.
Right, because the right people aren't going to see it. So what you need to do is think about who are the kinds of people that you want coming in the door. Who do you want pulling up on the ramp? Who do you want in your facility? And if you think about that, you will start thinking about local businesses. You can start thinking about some of the other businesses on the ramp that bring in customers and you want their customers. Like if you're an FBO and there's an MRO in the field, a maintenance facility that seems to be busy and have people coming in all the time, and you're going, why aren't they staying at our MRO or our FBO while they're getting their work done at the MRO, right?
Right, or even in town.
Exactly. Service providers, other folks, people that do detailing, people that do catering, people that do other kinds of things for aircraft in your area. Those are the kinds of folks you want to be partnering with. Businesses in your area, in your zip code, in your city, within 100 miles of where you are, that travel or that own aircraft. Mm-hmm. And those are things that you can find out by purchasing lists, getting lists from JetNet, AirPack, other things like that.
And locally.
Right. Other aviation partners, so people like brokers, insurance companies, anybody that has anything to do with aircraft that is located near you is probably a good candidate for somebody that you should be talking with and using as a potential source of customers, if not a customer in and of themselves. So,
of course,
if all of the brokers in your area know about your FBO, they know you've got hangar space, they know you've got these services, they know you've got whatever it is that you've got, they can refer customers much more easily. So you want to think of them as your customers as well.
Exactly.
You can get a list on JetNet or Amstat or any number of places of the local aircraft within X number of miles. So if you've got hangar space for a fairly large aircraft, you can look for aircraft up to that size. Anyone who owns any of those aircraft is a potential customer for you.
Exactly.
If they fly out of your airport, so much better.
Even better.
Right, exactly. Okay, aircraft landing at nearby airports. This is something that JetNet can provide. I think there's an additional fee for this, but this is a service that they offer where they can tell you who has landed. They can give you the tail numbers and the details, contact information for people who have landed at nearby airports.
In near real time.
Right, exactly. So, if you are at the Bountiful Airport and you see that somebody is landing at Salt Lake International all the time, you can say, you know what, here's a smaller airport. We're closer to the ski resorts, easier to get around. There's lots of things that you can do from here that are really great. And you really don't want to be in the Bravo airspace anyway. So, here's lots of reasons that you should be using us instead of them, right?
True.
Okay. So we kind of got into the offer already. So, but that's okay. These overlap a little bit. You just want to make sure that you're covering all three of your bases. You get a really good list. Ideally, we're looking at least 100 customers, 100 potential customers for any given campaign. So if you've got 100 local businesses or 100 aircraft owners or 100 whatevers, That's a pretty good number to shoot for. You could go as small as 10 if you're looking for very specific customers. So you are looking for managing an aircraft of a certain type. That's a pretty specific campaign, and so you want to do a smaller number and do a much more specific job with that, right?
It's all about demographics.
Exactly. Okay, so your offer. Why is your FBO the best choice for this particular customer?
It's got to be convenience.
Right? A lot of FBOs make the mistake of competing on price, and a lot of times they don't have the option of doing that. Their fuel prices are what they are. They have some wiggle room as far as hangar fees and landing fees and other things, but a lot of times those are set by other people, and the FBO may not have much flexibility there. So you can't compete on price all the time.
Right.
But you can always compete on convenience. You can always find out who's flying into this area. Do they have skis? Do they have golf clubs? Do they have scuba equipment? Do they have industrial equipment? You know, what's on their airplanes that they need to get from here to there? How can you make life easier for them?
Services you provide.
Exactly. To get on their way as conveniently as possible.
Yep.
Another thing that you may have that nobody else has is your people. So if you happen to have translators of certain languages, or if you have people who are fantastic local guides of the area, or you have people who are really good at a particular thing, or even just interesting people, that's something that you can talk about that none of your competitors can.
That's true.
As well. And another thing that you can talk about, facts, figures, maps, other things about your area. And you can often get these from the Chamber of Commerce, other local business groups and things like that. There's a lot of data that you can present.
Including a list of potential clients from the Chamber of Commerce.
Exactly. Or the Rotary Club, or, any number of business groups in your area probably already have this information. You just need to get hold of it and use it. Okay. So, this is actually one that we did. We featured this in a couple of podcasts. This is at the Boudin's Bakery in San Francisco, talking about what you can do locally. And I think every FBO should have one of these in the lounge. Here's what there is, and here's how you get here, and here's the pros and cons of each of these places, as far as restaurants, as far as hotels, as far as other facilities, business parks, office space, anything that your customers are likely to want. Put them on a map and stick them on the wall, That's one way to differentiate yourself from any other.
And if you don't know, Boudin's is actually on Embarcadero, which is right on the wharf.
Right, exactly. But there's such a San Francisco institution, and they make such a big deal of that. And I think any FBO can make a big deal of their location.
Absolutely.
So that's why we love that, and that's why we include that as an idea. So presentation ideas. How do you get this in front of the right people at the right time, other than hanging it on the wall of your FBO? Because if you're hanging it on the wall, they're already there, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So mailed packages are one of our favorite things because they're super high credibility, especially for local businesses and other folks. You can send a package of information in a nice folder, and it can include a lot of different pieces of information that your customers are going to find valuable. You can also include a small gift that you can call a bribe if you want to. But, certainly if you are doing this and no other FBOs are, then they're going to think of you first. So, that's always a nice thing. We like postcards also because especially if you have a larger list, you may want to send, if you've got 500 or more or something along those lines, you may want to send postcards because they're more cost effective, just to let people know.
But
that
if you have a top 10 list, you might want to send a coffee cup with appropriate information on it to sit on the guy's desk.
Exactly. There's lots of novelties and toys and other things, and we usually don't recommend that people just give these away at trade shows. We recommend that you send them as a mailed package because that just makes it that much more special and that much more targeted and that much more effective, right?
Yep.
Your website. We need to optimize your website so that people are finding it when they're looking at flying into your area. So it needs to be optimized for the keywords that people are looking for when they're talking about jet fuel in Bountiful, Utah, or, whatever it is that they're looking for. You want to make sure that those services are listed with the location so that those things are tied together, and lots of different variations of the location name.
And just because you got a good-looking website, if it's not got a good engine in it, it isn't going to work.
Exactly. So you want to make sure that when somebody goes to Google and types in the names of those services, and they may type Bountiful, they may type Northern Utah, they may type Wasatch Front, they may type any number of different names for the same place. It just depends on where they're coming from and what their perspective is. So you want to make sure.
You got to figure that out and then put that into your list of keywords you want to use.
Right, and you need to make sure that your pages and your site is optimized for those keywords.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about those packages. We like to include, this is actually a package that we sent out not too long ago. We got some custom wrapping paper made that we wrapped some packages in and sent them out, and that was kind of fun. It's super easy to do that, and it definitely stands out. So, those are things that can be done. So what goes into a prospecting package? We like to include a checklist. Here's what you should be looking for in an FBO. Do they handle your skis? Do they have a way to get you where you're going quickly? Do they have a crew car? Do they have a pilot lounge? Do they have showers? Do they have laundry? All of those things that you want to make sure that they know about. We like to include a sheet of testimonials. These are people that have used our services and what they think of them. That's always a whole lot more credible than what other people think, or what we think about ourselves, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. A service catalog. It is really nice to have a list of services with pricing and everything else so that there are no surprises, and so that people know exactly what they're getting in for, because, the last thing that they need is to find out that you can't or won't do something.
And if you're sending this out to people, you should have a valid date past which it may go up.
Price is valid through the end of the year, whatever it is,
right.
So that
as an example.
Right. So that if somebody gets hold of a really old catalog, you're not stuck with a misunderstanding or something. Case studies and white papers, maybe people who switched to your FBO and saved a ton of money, that's always nice. Or white papers about the area, here's the economic situation where we live. Here's why you should be doing business here. Those kinds of things. Coupons, special offers, anything you can provide along those lines that provides a little bit of urgency. For first-time fly-ins before the end of the month, we'll do X, Y, or Z. We'll include a free detail with a full tank of gas, or whatever it is that you want to provide. And a small gift. John mentioned a coffee cup. Those are always fun.
If it's, you have to select, if you got 500 customers in your top 10, you can send a larger priced gift.
Toys are always well received, especially, toy airplanes of some kind. A lot of people have kids and they like to spoil their family, or, everybody likes toys anyway, whether or not they have kids. They'll play with them in the office. Food is always well received as well. If it's winter, you can send chocolate. If it's summer, don't send chocolate. But nuts, dried fruits, gifts like that, letter openers, fun things that show that you care about people. And what's really cool is if you're sending just 10 of these out, you want to put it with their logo, not yours, and make it super special for this particular person or this particular company, and say, we'd really like to do business with you. And that just shows a lot more thoughtfulness and over the top consideration, which is what they're expecting from an FBO, quite frankly.
And what you're selling.
Exactly. Okay, so here's some examples of some social media. These are some reviews that our client SSC has gotten from customers. I would put these together on a sheet and send them out with a mailed package. You can also use these on social media. You can use these on a postcard. You can put them on social media posts, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Make a little video with all of your testimonials, other kinds of things. You just want to make a lot of noise about these things, because your customer went to a lot of effort to tell everybody their story and you want to help them, make sure everybody knows that they had a good experience with you. Right?
Yeah, I mean, on a sort of off the subject thing, but I had a windshield replaced. Mm-hmm. And I went back the next day and said, thank you very much. It was the best job of windshield installation I've seen in a while. And I've seen a few, and the quality product. I've had windshields that were rippled and you couldn't see off the side. This one was perfectly clear, no marks, clean, installation done right. And so I just told him, I said, I really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And I said, by the way, what did you use to clean this with? Because there's no streaks. Mm-hmm. How do you do that? And he said, well, it's this. He went in and got a bottle or a can of stuff. I said, great. How much does it cost? He said, because you came and took the time to come in and do all this, I'm just going to give it to you. Mm-hmm. I said, well, that wasn't my intent. He said, no, it's okay. I said, okay.
Did you write a review for them?
No. He didn't ask me to, and I didn't think about it.
Oh, geez. Well, that's one thing you can do. And, a lot of people feel a little weird about it, but, if you can send them a survey after a service or something along those lines and say, here's a link to leave us a Google review or a Facebook review or something like that, that's a great time to ask. And a lot of times people don't do it just because nobody asked.
No, nobody ever asked. Me,
Well, they should. All right. Here's some other examples of social media posts. This is, just basically retweeting something from the local area. There is a hashtag for Greenville, South Carolina called Yeah, That Greenville. I'm not sure what the origin of this hashtag is, but everybody in Greenville knows about this hashtag apparently, and your area has its own, whatever it is.
And if not, you can make one up.
Exactly. So, here they're talking about, and this is a blog article that's talking about 7 reasons to fly from smaller airports if you want to save time and money. Of course, these guys are a small airport, so of course they want to spread the word about this, right? And use their hashtags and other things to make sure that people find that. This is an article from their blog. Greenville Talent Executive Vice President uses private aviation as a competitive advantage. So this is about Vicki Peak. She runs a recruiting agency in Greenville, South Carolina, near our client, Special Services Corporation. And she uses Special Services Corporation because she flies from Greenville to Nashville all the time, which is like a 5-hour drive. And they have figured out that if they're flying 2 or 3 people from their local office to the headquarters, they can save a ton of money, plus a night in the hotel and a lot of time by flying up to Nashville, spending the day doing meetings, flying back. And also, being a recruiting company, they are in the business of seeing people face to face, which is different, right, than all this social media and Zoom and everything else that we're doing nowadays. So being able to go meet with a potential customer or meet with a prospect or meet with a candidate is a really huge competitive advantage for them. And so they talk about that there. And that is to their advantage as a recruiting company. Yep. It's an advertisement for them. And it's on SSC's website. So it's an advertisement for them, talking about how this partnership is really working for both folks.
Exactly.
So that is a great way to present your argument and show, this is how we do what we do and, why this is a great idea and why you should be doing business with us, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, and then let's talk for a minute about hashtags. These are the goofy little pound sign whatevers. We talked about, yeah, that Greenville. Every location has its own hashtags, whatever they are.
And if not, you can create one, like I said before.
Exactly. And a lot of different services have specific hashtags that are the most popular hashtags. So the way this works is the algorithms in social media, if you're visiting a lot of posts, or if you're interacting or commenting on a lot of posts that have the hashtag FBO, they will show you more of them.
Yes.
Because that's basically a way that the social media show you more of what you want. They guess what you're interested in and what you care about because of these. So if you include these on your post, then people who have clicked on other FBOs or other posts about private jets or posts about aviation are more likely to see yours in the future.
I guess she means they use AI.
Right. So it's better than a guess, but in human parlance, that's what's going on. Is they're assuming they're making the leap that you are the kind of person who would like to see more about this topic.
Well, not exactly a guess or a leap.
Okay.
They actually got algorithms that go see what you've done before, and then they project based on weighted averages.
Right. So the way these work, and we go into this quite a bit in our social media workshop, how many hashtags to use on posts of different types and so on. But generally speaking, on Facebook or Twitter, it's 2 or 3 hashtags. So you want to pick the 2 or 3 that are the most relevant. And if you have a choice, pick the ones that are the most popular over ones that are super specific so that you get more people visiting your future posts. If you are on Instagram or some of the other platforms, you can use more hashtags. So, depending on which engine you're using, they manage their algorithms differently. So you want to make sure that you're kind of adapting your strategy to that. And if we're doing your social media for you,
then we do
this
that
for you, right?
Without getting any more technical.
Okay. So, basically what it comes down to is if you are an FBO, you want to come up with a list, an offer, and a presentation. The list is who you want to talk to. The offer is what can you do better than anyone else. And the presentation is how are you going to present that? Are you going to do social media posts? You're going to do blog posts? You're going to do a mailed package? You're going to do postcards? We recommend the more the better. You want people to be seeing you everywhere. You want to be kind of omnipresent as much as you can afford, as much as you can do, especially if you've got competitors that are super aggressive.
So what you're saying is who you selling to, what are you selling, and how you doing it.
Exactly. List, offer, presentation. If you would like some help, we would be happy to do that for you and with you. Our FBO Sales and Marketing Bundle is a collaborative effort. We do a website refresh that's included in that to make sure that your website is optimized for your local area and for the services that you provide. We do social media for you, to make sure that that is set up and correct.
And that Google actually sees your website.
Exactly. Yeah. Google's algorithms do change on a frequent and regular basis. So something that is optimized today may not be optimized tomorrow.
We see that frequently, actually.
Exactly. So with the bundle, basically, we do all of this for you, make sure that everything is in order, make sure that everything is working, and take care of all of that for you and with you as a collaborative effort. So feel free to check that out. Let us know if you're interested, and we would be happy to talk you through what that would look like working together. Meanwhile, go sell more stuff.
Yep. The industry needs the business.
It absolutely does.